So I haven't been making any videos. With the new year coming up in a couple of days, I decided to make a quick update how I've been doing. My last video I think was back when it was still summer, I believe so. But I've been working long hours now. That's the reason why I haven't really been able to make too much videos. Because I work 6 days a week now. 10 hours Mondays to Friday and 8 hours on Saturday, sometimes nine, sometimes even 10 hours on Saturday. So that's the reason why don't really get a chance to make videos at home like I used to. There's too much background noise that when you have anxiety, your mind's already distracted, and then with background noise you get distracted. So it's easier for me to make videos while I'm at work. And I'm in my car and there's really no one around, so I don't get distracted by coworkers walking around or like going up to me asking me stuff, questions, whatever. But I've been fine for the most part. There's times here and there where I feel like my DPDR is really high. DPDR is like that detached feeling from yourself. You feel detached from yourself. You feel detached from your surroundings. It's like that our body experience. Sometimes it bothers me. Sometimes it doesn't really get to me. I notice it's high when it's really notice noticeable. I can't even talk right now, but it really bothers me when I'm not doing anything. Like when I'm on lunch or on break, I'm not focused on work, and then my mind's like, okay, what am I going to focus on? And then I start focusing on how I feel, and it could be the anxiety, it can be whatever it is. And then when I start going back to work, and it slowly that DPDR feeling goes away, and then I'm like, okay. If you never experienced it, but you know someone that experienced it, let's just say it feels like you're outside your body looking in. You can see yourself, and you don't actually see yourself. It's just that feeling that it feels like you're seeing yourself from the outside. Let's just say you look in the mirror, you're brushing your teeth, you're washing your face, you look away from the mirror, and then you look up, and then you see yourself, and then you're like, oh my god, right? And how it feels like you're talking to yourself from the mirror, looking out. There's times that I see myself in the mirror, and then I have this confused thought in my head, like, oh my god, why do I feel like I'm the person in the mirror looking out? Why do I feel like I'm talking to myself? It's like I'm making a video now, but I feel like I feel like I'm the person inside the phone talking to someone else. Sometimes I feel like I'm sharing a body with somebody else, and that person's controlling what I can say, what I can do, what I can see, what I can smell, things like that. But for the most part, there's times that when I'm driving to work, I'm like, oh my god, I wonder how much work I have to do today. Am I going to get to go home early? Am I going to do my 10 hours? When I started working at this company, I was under a different department, and they didn't really do too much overtime. Now I'm doing a lot of overtime, and when I'm doing overtime, I'm doing like 116 hours in 2 weeks. So that's like 36 hours of overtime itself. There was this one pay period where I actually worked 40 something hours of overtime, and that was like a week's worth of overtime just in 6 days alone. Where I was working 10 no 12 hours, not 12 hours, but 12 days, and it adds up to like an extra work week, because of the overtime. But it doesn't really bother me because I sometimes this I don't do anything at home. I'm just like just running around the house, and I rather get paid if I'm just gonna do nothing at home. But there's times that I would say I wish I just have like 2 weekdays off. I mean 2 weekends off. I even get to go home 8 hours on a Friday, and then have Saturday off, and you know have Saturday and Sunday just start my weekend 2 hours early. But it is what it is. But so far everything been fine. Work been busy. Which I don't mind, because when there's nothing to do, I would just say, if nothing to do, can I just go home? but when it's busy, time goes by fast. There's times that I work 12 hours, right? And then I'm like, oh my God, time went by fast, and everyone's like all tired, and I'm like, time went by so fast, so I didn't even notice it was like, time for us to go home already. Sometimes when you have anxiety, your mind is busy with your thoughts, your feelings, and so on. But when you don't have it, it's a lot of times when you don't feel panicky, you don't have the anxiety, you feel like you have to focus on something, right? And sometimes you start focusing on like, oh my God, I don't have anxiety. What's going on? Am I dead? Am I asleep? There was times when I was still having panic attacks when my panic attacks worsened so bad. How when I remember back in 2016, when I started experiencing the panic attack, I remember I started having them in the beginning of spring, and then summer in July for 2 to 4 days. I don't remember. I didn't have any panic attacks, zero symptoms, no anxiety, nothing. I was able to leave the house without even like being scared, without thinking, oh my God, well, what's going to happen? And then it came back slowly, and they hit me even harder. I started experiencing more symptoms, more sensation, and then from then on, I started having like different symptoms I never had before, different sensations I never had before, and then as it got worse in 2016 in October, then I went to the urgent care. Keep in mind, this was back when I couldn't even leave the house. So, my dad went with me. My two brothers went with me. I sat in the back seat. So one of my brothers sat next to me just to like calm me down. I brought my headphones with me just so I can listen to music, close my eyes, and just like lean back in the car, and pretend I was just at home. And it was the worstest feeling. You couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. But you know, and then from then on, I couldn't leave my house. And then 2017 came along. Entire 2017, for the most part, I wasn't leaving my house. And then I slowly started leaving my house, and little by little, just going to the backyard was a nightmare, right? So I went to the backyard, slowly went to the front yard, and every other day, or every couple of days, I would, take a couple of steps farther away from my house, like, a step or two to my neighbor's house, and then come back around to my neighbor's house. And, little by little, I was finally able to go around the block, and they couldn't see my house. And then, there was times that, I'm not gonna lie, there was times that the panic kicked in even worse than it was, and then I just walked home. I think the most important thing, if you're still stuck at home and you do go for little walks, is whenever you feel like you have to walk home, right? Just keep going. The farther you get away from your house, the more panicky you feel. Why? Because you're away from your home. Your mind is like, you need to go home. You're in danger. You're only feeling like you're in danger because your mind is there to protect you. I always have to remind myself every time I feel the panic coming, I have to remind myself it's only there to protect me. I am creating a panic in my mind because I'm telling myself, I have to run home. I have to run home. And you realize when you're walking faster, you're running, your heart races, your heart is pounding faster, and you start wondering, why is my heart racing? I'm heading back right now. It's because your mind's telling you to go faster, faster, faster. But when you go faster and you walk faster away from your house, your heart's still going to be pounding. No matter what, your heart is still going to be pounding. So the sooner you're able to leave your house, the sooner you're able to tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to panic and I'm just going to keep walking, and you don't pay attention to those symptoms, sensation, no matter how bad they feel. The farther you walk away, you feel calmer. You slowly feel calmer, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, nothing even happened. Why am I afraid of my own mind?" It's because you created these bad thoughts in your mind, because you're scared. And when you're scared of something, you don't want to do it. But you have to realize, going outside your house, you have to, everyone leaves their house, right? But the sooner you do it, the sooner you feel free from, your own mindset. There's times that, I didn't want to stay home, even with my anxiety, but I knew that I couldn't leave because I'm gonna freak out. And by the time I start leaving my house every other day, I slowly feel calmer, 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 and then the anxiety slowly went away, the depression went away, my mind felt clear. A lot of the symptoms, sensation went away. Do I still have some of them symptoms, sensation? Sure, but I'm able to still leave the house with them or without them. So anxiety is just like a filter around your body. It's there to protect you. The feelings that you get is there to protect you, even though they're scary, because you kind of have to think about it. When you feel your worst symptoms, right? It's because you know you're about to do something you don't want to do because you're scared to do it. So that symptom is there to stop you in your track from doing it. But once you do what you're afraid to do, those symptoms are gonna slowly fade away because you're telling yourself, hey, I don't need to protect you from me just walking to get my mail. I don't need you to protect me from me getting up to walking around my neighborhood. You have to tell yourself in your mindset that you don't need this protection because you're gonna realize once you start walking around, oh my God, there's nothing. The only thing that's stopping me is my symptoms and myself, and only you can stop yourself from going and staying home. But I'm not saying you don't need to get help. Like for couple of months, my neighbor was walking with me, my daughter was walking with me, my niece and my nephew was with me, and then I slowly say I'll do it myself. Like before I used to go work by myself. Before I did stuff on my own. Like, you have to find that mindset that I can do this by myself after I get some help. Nothing wrong with asking for help, but you realize once you step out with somebody, you keep going around, then you're gonna be like, oh my God, I can do this myself. But if you need help, like I said, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. The first thing to do is clear your mind. Sometimes, you know, when you have all these thoughts in your mind, you want to tell someone, you're afraid people are going to judge you. I think it's best to talk to somebody you can trust, either that's a family, a friend, a coworker, your neighbor, if whoever. If you don't feel like you can talk to somebody, not even a doctor or whatever, um, make a video. You don't have to post it. Just set it on private. That way, that you talk about it. It's not stuck in your mind anymore. You let it out because trust me, when you have thoughts in your mind that's just there to bother you, your head feels heavy, your mind feels clouded. You don't feel like you can trust anybody. You don't feel like you can trust yourself. Your body weighs down because your head is so filled with unwanted thoughts. So once you let those thoughts go, you feel so much better. That's how I felt better because once I start telling people how I felt inside. I didn't care if they judged me because everyone has something in their mind that bothers them. And once you let go that weight in your mind, you slowly feel a lot better. But that's pretty much it for me. And I'll try to make as much video as I can. My daughter actually got me a GoPro, so I'll probably try to start making more videos as I'm driving to work or just driving around. But that's pretty much it.